Hello and welcome to this auto onboarding and demonstration of the Circlesoft system. This video will cover what you need to know to get started and set up a Circle store, including how to set up your staff, add categories, add or change your payment types that you wish to accept, and add non-tracked items. I hope this video helps get you started, but feel free to reach out if you have any problems or concerns. When your site was set up, you will have received a username and password which will have full manager privileges, i.e. you can see and do everything. From an information security perspective, each user of the system should have their own username and password. However, this is perhaps not practical in all situations. Regardless, even in these situations, you may not want to have your staff to see the financial side of a business, or if you have multiple staff working in the back office, in and out of the store, you might want a trail of accountability in the system for completed tasks, as Circle logs which user performs specific actions within the back office. As such, we recommend each user who is performing significant tasks such as ordering and receiving on their own unique terminal receive a login for accountability. More information on a potential use of shared logins will be provided in a moment. To set up a staff member, go to Back Office, Staff, Staff Setup. The username is automatically generated and will be firstname.lastname. The staff member can set up a secure password by either entering their password here or by leaving the password field blank and logging into the website with their username. The first time they log in, the system will prompt them to set up a password. It is important that staff enter their own passwords. You may want to give them a staff discount and or allow them to purchase items on account, i.e. without payment. So there are settings for discount, credit limit, and payment terms here. Ensure their role is set up as staff member. Once a staff member has an account, they may choose to use it to keep track of their purchases, which can be accessed through the back office or the website's My Account feature. As for shared logins, it can also sometimes be a good idea to set up a general store account for staff members to use at the point of sale computers. This ensures that staff don't need to log out and log in under their own accounts all day long, which can be time consuming and problematic. Make the password for this account something that everyone can remember, but is complicated enough that it cannot be guessed by an outsider. Despite this, we still encourage staff to use their own logins, or at least record in the system, when performing major back office tasks like ordering, receiving, or returns, which may need accountability afterwards. If you would like to keep the financial side of the business private, it is possible to restrict staff access in back office. Staff restricts the staff. Choose from the options which items you would like to restrict. One of the first things you will want to do is setting up your shop categories. Circle implements a tree-like category structure, which consists of parent categories and subcategories, and even subcategories, depending on how many you would like. Typically, most shops will have a category tree that will have 2 or 3 levels, but more are possible if required, and it's a fine balance between your categories being too broad and too narrow, so it takes some time to think the categories through. We encourage that the categories that you set up roughly match the physical segmentation of the stock in your store. It'll make searching for items easier and more logical, as well as making locating and putting away stock easier for your staff. But in saying this, having extra subcategories on your website can be beneficial, as you can set it up to be more of an online equivalent of having a staff member's recommendation or guidance to discover titles of interest. So for example, rather than opting for a broad category like non-fiction, you may include something like biography, sport on your website to narrow down the results. The other part of the category tree is that each item can have both a primary category and a secondary category. The primary category is what the item is coded as and is what will show up when searched. The other categories, or secondary categories, can be an unlimited amount of additional categories which the title will be found in. For example, a book may have a parent category of fiction, but then you might select a secondary category of award winners or bestsellers. What this will mean is initially it will show up in your fiction section. However, for example, on your online website, you would be able to add a tab showing your bestsellers or your award winners, and these items would also show up there. To access your category manager, firstly go to your site and log in. Once logged in, click on that welcome and down arrow at the top right to bring up the category manager option. Click on that. Once inside the category manager, you'll see all of the categories on your left hand side. Your site comes pre-built with a bunch of categories as a starting point. You can use or delete depending on your needs. In the category manager, you can add, remove and hide categories, as well as move the categories within the hierarchy. After creating a category, you can edit its information by clicking on its name. You can edit the name itself, its parent category, whether you want it to display or hide it from the public, as well as any text you may want to add at the top of the category when viewed on the website. For example, in the new releases category, we're adding a header which says, "This is the new release" category, and some text underneath. A more practical example might be if you have a category called local authors and you want to say something about this writer's community. When you have finished editing in this "what you see is what you get" editor, click on save and you can load up the category on the website to see your changes. If you want to set up a category directly as a subcategory, you can enter its name and simply select what its parent category is from the drop-down box. By default, your categories are listed on the website in alphabetical order, but Circle has two separate mechanisms to change this order: rank and highlight. We'll start with the highlight first. Basically, when a category is highlighted, it appears in bold and above a solid line, which is a very clear separation from the remaining uncategorized items in the list. To highlight a category, click on the upward arrow in the highlight column of your category manager, and to unhighlight it, click on the downwards arrow. We're going to highlight staff picks and new releases, and you'll see that they move above the highlighted line. Rank allows more fine-tuned reorganization. Basically, ranking an item places it at the top of its section, highlighted or unhighlighted, and the number in the ranking box determines the order. So if we want to reorder and put staff picks above new releases, we can set the rank of staff picks to be 1 and the rank of new releases to be 2. Scroll to the bottom to save, and we can see that the order of staff picks and new releases has changed. Lastly, there's also a sort column which has a level 1 sort and a level 2 sort. These are the default sorting mechanisms used when a customer views that category on your website. Level 1 and level 2 are defined at the bottom of this page, but by default, level 1 is by stock on hand. However, some shops choose to sort by title. If the system has 2 books with the same level 1 sort criteria, i.e. 2 books with the same title or 2 books with the same stock level, it decides the order they're displayed by going to the level 2 sort criteria. Assuming we set our level 1 sort to title and our level 2 sort to stock on hand, this sorting criteria is applied to all categories which have select level 1 sort and select level 2 sort methods selected. There are cases where you may want to manually override the setting for a given category. For example, new releases might be better suited being ranked by date added rather than title. Additionally, you may be selling tickets to an event, and these can also be ordered by date. To manually override a category, select the option from the drop-down box to the right-hand side of the category and choose the preferred method. To delete a category, click on the checkbox at the right-hand side of the column, scroll to the bottom and click Delete Selected. Make sure to move items in that category to somewhere else first, or they'll end up in no category. That's basically it. You've learned how to edit, add, move, and delete categories. Spend some time thinking about how you would like your category structure to look like, and have fun. The last points I would wish to cover in this video will be the different payment types, as well as the non-tracked items that are available in Circle. First off, the different payment types available in your point of sale. Your shop will be able to have as many different payment types that you wish to accept. At the moment, these payment types are the ones which are available inside your point of sale, with options for your website will come at a different location. To set up your point of sale payment types, go to Back Office, Point of Sale, Payment Types. The default options should be okay for most shops, however you can choose to hide some options if you do not accept those payments or wish to simplify it. These can include things like Amex or check. You will be able to hide, add, or permanently delete, also known as drop, payment types. It is also recommended to change your default payment type to your most commonly received payment type. Usually we find this is card. This will save you time on each transaction inside the point of sale. The next thing I want to talk about is these items that we call non-tracked items. There may be items in which your store wants to sell, but you don't particularly mind if they're not 100% kept track of. This might include things such as greeting cards or coffee, where you have multiple different items, but you wish to just be able to sell them under the one code. For example, a $2 card, a $3 card, or a $5 card, which whilst may be different, you just want the total number of cards of each price point. As a rule, if an item doesn't have a unique barcode, or you do not need to reorder it when it is sold, it should be a non-tracked item. These items are known as non-tracked and can be found at back office, point of sale, non-tracked items. A number of non-tracked items are preloaded into your site. They may not make sense immediately, but you can add more as you need. These items are set up with a code, description, cost price, regular price or RRP, sale price, or the price your shop sells it at, and decide whether you want this item to be able to accrue loyalty if you have set up the loyalty program. You might want to categorize these items if you want a breakdown of your sales for that category, but it is not essential to do so. Ordinarily, when your regular items with unique barcodes are uncategorized, they don't appear on your website. However, non-tracked items don't even appear on your website, even if they have a category. The codes you select for your non-tracked items should be something short and obvious. These codes are what are typed into the barcode field of the point of sale. Once you've entered your items, you may want to have a printout of the codes and prices on a cheat sheet next to the point of sale for you and your staff to enter. If you wish to delete a non-tracked item, click on the tick box on the right hand side and then click on the Drop Selected button. To modify or edit an item, simply edit the required information and then click the Save button. If for any reason you're unable to sell an item at the point of sale, for example it's not scanning, there is a magical non-tracked item with the code B for books, which can simply be used to process the item and get the customer moving. It can be a fast way to finalize the transaction and move on, but remember, you will need to go back and figure out what caused the problem and make sure that you alter the stock on hand, as using the code will not decrease the stock sold. I hope this video has been helpful. Have fun setting up your Circle store. Bye.